Welcome back to Future Forward by CallMiner, the series where we dig into enterprise conversation intelligence, CX automation, and AI-powered customer engagement with people who actually live this stuff. If you're in CX, contact centers, or you just care about how automation and analytics are reshaping industries like finance, healthcare, retail, telecoms, and tech, you're in exactly the right place. Today, I am joined by Frank Sherlock, who's been right in the thick of figuring out how AI can be both powerful and safe inside enterprise customer service. And let's be honest, AI governance sounds a bit dry, but here's the twist. A lot of companies are already using AI in customer experiences every day. But when you ask how they're governing it, the answer is often, we've got policies. So in practice, what is AI governance in a CX environment, right?
Hey, Angelica. Yeah, that's exactly the gap we see. Governance often gets reduced to a set of documents that sit somewhere in the business, but they don't really influence day-to-day decisions. In reality, AI governance in customer experience is about defining clear, enforceable principles, but more importantly, embedding those principles into how decisions are made and monitored in real time. And because we're talking about customer interactions, the stakes are so much higher. You need to be able to answer questions like, how do we ensure that the output align with company values? How do we mitigate bias? What's the process that we adopt when something goes wrong? So it's not just principle, it's principle backed by process, consistently applied.
Interesting. And where do you see the biggest compliance gaps right now?
If I had to call out two, I'd call out transparency and data lineage. On transparency, organizations often deploy AI without fully understanding or documenting what decisions are being automated and how those decisions are reached. That creates real risk. For example, if a customer is denied something and asks why I've been denied, the business needs to be able to explain that clearly and confidently. And on data lineage, it's really about knowing exactly where your training data comes from, whether it meets the regulatory and the privacy requirements. If you can't trace that, it becomes really difficult to audit and even harder to defend when challenged. And those are the areas that regulators and customers will increasingly focus upon in today's AI world.
So, how does governance tie into something softer, like customer trust? Is it just a legal checkbox, or is it actually part of the whole CX strategy?
I think it's very much part of the overall experience. Customers may not understand the technical detail of how AI works, but they do absolutely understand whether they feel they're being treated fairly and consistently. If a business can explain, here's what's happened, here's why we made that decision, here's what you can do next, that builds confidence. It shows that AI is part of a controlled, accountable system, not a black box. And that transparency becomes a real differentiator. I would argue strongly that if your AI initiatives are not trusted by your customers, then the adoption of your AI programs will ultimately fail.
Good point. Right. So it's not about making AI invisible, it's about making it visible in the right way.
Yeah, exactly. Simply stating that AI is being used isn't enough. I think the key is about making logic understandable when it matters and ensuring that you've got clear mechanisms for human oversight. And I think that includes the ability to override decisions when necessary, ongoing monitoring to make sure that these outputs align with expectations. For me, it's about responsible, visible use, not hidden use.
Sure. What about looking ahead? Are there trends in AI governance that are going to have a big impact on CX over the next few years?
Yeah, I think we're starting to see, a couple of clear directions of travel. So we're starting to see the emergence of real-time governance, effectively compliance layers that sit alongside the AI models. So rather than reviewing decisions after the fact, these systems flag potential risk or bias as it happens. And at the same time, we're seeing regulators moving towards the requirement of greater explainability. It won't be enough to just show accuracy metrics. Organizations will absolutely need to demonstrate how the decisions are made and how they can be justified. I think that's likely to push businesses to build governance into their AI architectures from the outset, rather than trying to retrofit governance on later.
So, if you had to give one takeaway, what is the make or break for effective AI governance in CX?
Great question. I think for me, don't think about governance as a constraint to your AI programs. Think of governance as an enabler. If customers trust how your AI operates, they're more likely to engage with it, rely on it, and ultimately provide you with the data to continuously improve it. Governance is what makes AI sustainable in a customer experience context. Without it, you may get short-term gains, but you're not going to build long-term confidence.
That's a great tip, Frank. All right. If you're watching this and your organization is already using AI in customer service, how much governance do you really have in place? And if someone asked you to explain an AI-driven decision tomorrow, could you? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this is one of those conversations that's only going to get louder. See you in the next episode of Future Forward.
Thank you.